Is it the card of the year? I don't know, but it's certainly better than the dog shit we've been fed for the last couple of months. So here we go. UFC 322, Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev takes place on Saturday night at Madison Square Garden, and I'm going to give you my predictions for the main card, starting with Benoit Saint Denis versus Beneil Dariush. Now, I think Benoit Saint Denis has recaptured some of the momentum he had before the Poirier fight, and I think Beneil Dariush is on the decline, obviously coming off a good win, but I think that Benoit Saint Denis really has a chance here to capture that hype that he once had before they stuck him up way too high to fight Dustin Poirier. So for the start of the main card, I'm going to predict that Benoit Saint Denis etches a somewhat close decision, 29-28, probably winning the first two rounds, losing the third to Beneil Dariush. Moving up the card, we have Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates. Wow, it feels good to say that. The second fight of the main card being Leon Edwards and Carlos Prates feels like we're really back to getting some good UFC fights. I think Carlos Prates has shown that he's on the upward trajectory, and I think Leon Edwards has shown that maybe he was at the level we thought he was after the Usman fights, but the UFC has evolved, the welterweight division has improved, and I think it's left him behind. I did think that about Kamaru Usman, who proved me wrong by dominating Joaquin Buckley, but I think I'm right about this one. I think Carlos Prates is too good for him. The styles make fights. Leon Edwards' strong suit is the stand-up, and I think standing with Carlos Prates for 5 rounds can get you in danger. So I'm going to pick Carlos Prates to brutally knock out Leon Edwards. In the second round, I think he can survive a round. I think it's going to be tricky to find Leon originally, but I think when Carlos Prates gets in a rhythm, as we saw in his last fight against Jeff Neal, it's very hard to stop. So I'm picking Carlos Prates round 2 KO. Moving up on the card, we have a man who just beat Leon Edwards in Sean Brady taking on Michael Morales, a good up-and-coming prospect, but I think in this fight, Sean Brady is rinse and repeat. I think he does the same thing he just did to Leon Edwards. I think that Sean Brady is a hell of a talent, only losing to Bilal. I think Bilal is a great style matchup for Sean Brady in favour of Bilal. I think that a lot of people, especially striking heavy people, are going to struggle with Sean Brady in that division. I think he's a lot to handle. You saw we just dealt with the former champ. I think that Michael Morales, it's not too much too soon. I think he's had quite steady growth up the welterweight division, but I don't think this style of fight is what he should have taken. I think it's maybe the toughest. I think it's maybe the toughest fight in the division outside of no one really. For styles, there are some fighters in this division that would fare better against JDM than they would against Sean Brady. So I'm picking Sean Brady. I don't think he's going to get the finish this time. I'm going to pick a 3-round decision win for Sean Brady, 30-27, maybe even 30-26. Let me know if you think I'm underrating Michael Morales, but I really think Sean Brady is that level. Had one hiccup against Bilal, and it's been all systems go outside of that. Moving up the card to the co-main event of the evening, Valentina Shevchenko is taking on Zhang Weili. Zhang Weili moving up a division to try and capture the two-weight world championship. Obviously, that's not a thing anymore in the UFC. They like to strip people of their belts, which I don't think is a bad thing, but in our eyes, we just saw what the vacant strawweight title fight looked like. Zhang Weili is definitely still the champion of that division. So going up against Valentina Shevchenko, I think she's going to have success. I think Valentina is on the end of her career. I think she's shown some great outings recently, but I think that Zhang Weili is a level above the other women's fighters in the UFC. I think Zhang Weili sits at the cream of the crop no matter what division she fights in. And now to the main event. I think a lot of people think that Islam is going to just go in there, walk through him, get the takedowns when he wants, strike well with him. And I don't disagree with that opinion. I think that Islam can strike with JDM. I don't think he will. I think he will look for the takedown, and that is where I think he will reach his demise. I think JDM's takedown defense is much improved since the Gilbert Burns fight. Obviously, he had a broken arm in that fight. And I just think that his defensive takedown techniques are stellar. You saw him adapt on Peter Yan's high guard with the somewhat, I don't even know how he does it, but the defense, he lowers his whole body, he meets the takedown with his guard and he stuffs it. I think that will come into use this fight. I think JDM's ability to pop shots and move is going to cause Islam a tough time. I think Islam managed to strike well with Volkanovski a lot because of the size difference. I think that he struck well with Poirier because Poirier is a hand-heavy fighter. Not that JDM is not, but I think JDM is more likely to chew up the legs, really get at him from a lot of angles. And I don't think that Islam is going to find much success kicking JDM. I think that his striking defense is top tier. So I don't think he's as open to shots as Poirier is. I think he's a bit more defensively sound. And I think just because of the weight difference, he's going to have a bit more of a potent punch. You saw Bilal staying there for 5 rounds, but he was getting pieced up. He obviously respected JDM's power, or else he would have closed the distance earlier, try shot for more takedowns. But JDM, as we've seen, he creates a great game plan. I mean, 18 fights undefeated. He's truly undefeated. It's like his MMA career 0-2, but ever since then, it has been smooth sailing. I can't remember a time we had a main event where two guys were on such a win streak combined. JDM on an 18 fight win streak. I believe Islam's on a 16 fight win streak, I do believe, in the UFC. It's crazy numbers. We've never seen it before. But after all that, I'm here to say that I am picking the upset. I think that JDM is going to be able to stall out his takedowns, keep it on the feet. I do think he'll lose a round or two on the feet. I think Islam Makhachev's stand-up is that good that he can take rounds from JDM purely standing. But I think JDM's going to find it. Upper weight class, beautiful, crisp boxing from JDM. I think he presents a real problem given his size for Islam. And so I'm taking JDM by 4th round TKO. I'm just recording this part in post about my Zhang Weili versus Valentina Shevchenko breakdown. It shows to me that I didn't pick a prediction of how it was going to end. I just assumed that we all knew that it was going to go to a decision. I think that's a pretty safe bet. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, whether you agree or disagree. I want to see your pre-fight predictions in the comments. Who you think is going to win, and more importantly, the main event.